Hello and welcome, my friends, to FF Lifestyle. This is going to be another adventure video. This is actually try number 2 for this video, and it is going to be probably titled something along the lines of getting into mountain biking at 30 years old. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do today. Now, full disclosure, I have tried mountain biking about 3 times before. Of course, I also know how to ride a freaking bike. But my entire life, I've been doing sports on some type of board. And it is very uncomfortable for me to attempt to try to do some sort of extreme sport on a bike. I don't know why it's so much scarier for me to try to do some sort of, I don't know, more dangerous than usual activity with a bike. But as a kid, I rarely ever rode bikes because I was riding my skateboard everywhere. So all those skills that many folks learned on dirt bikes and BMX bikes and other things, I just didn't really pick them up. So when it comes to turning, sharp angles, rocks, things in the woods, I'm just not there with a bike. And this is something that I'm trying to see if it is going to be for me, actually trying. My stepdad, who has always been incredibly supportive and awesome, and I love him very much, he let me borrow an unbelievably expensive $6,000 mountain bike that I have here with me today. You'll be seeing B-roll of this as well. Trying out something new, I feel like you have to have the proper mindset. Also, it seems like it helps to have a truck as well when it comes to mountain biking. Now, this is an entirely carbon fiber mountain bike that has all of the features and things that you would generally want to have on a mountain bike. My stepdad is unbelievably into this sport and has multiple setups like this, and this, as he described it to me, is his race bike. So I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what any of this stuff is called. I don't even know how to fix this thing if it breaks down in the woods. But I feel like if you want to get the most out of trying something like this, man, it's kind of nice to have such a nice bike to figure out fully if you like it or not. The first few times I went, I just didn't really have the proper mindset or gear. I was winging it. I'm hoping this changes things a little bit. I know what many of you guys are probably wondering, and that is, hey, you said this was try number 2. What happened to try number 1? Well, it just was kind of an epic failure all the way around. I am going now, and where I was try number 1 a few days ago was the Hershey Medical Center. Oddly enough, there is a large, relatively large network of mountain bike trails behind it, and it was hot, and I thought I was prepared. I was coming from work and I thought I had all this gear, and I just was so unbelievably underprepared, which I thought was kind of interesting because normally I think of myself relatively well prepared for some of these adventures. I do blame you guys a little bit because when it came to a lot of the failures, I think my mind was all over the place trying to film this adventure vlog, and that's just not mentally where you want to be when you're trying something like this for the first time in a very long time, or for the first time ever. And I was so concerned with what's the video gonna look like, where should I start, okay, I gotta do this before the video, that I think it just threw my headspace off. And then it ended up being a million times harder than I remember it being. And I went to, in the medical center, bike path, bike park, I guess, whatever the hell the terminology is that mountain bikers use, there are 2 sides, a left and a right side, and it's kind of separated by difficulty. The right-hand side is a higher difficulty than the left-hand side. And I remember doing black trails, which are very similar to ski and snowboarding trail ratings, but I remember doing that with my buddy, and I could do them. You could avoid the jumps. It's not like a ski or snowboard mountain where you could potentially die if you don't choose your trail appropriately. In this case, you can kind of avoid some stuff. So I decided to start off stupidly right to the hard side, and it was just way too much, way too much, and I was falling all over the place. I could not film even if I wanted to, and it just wasn't great. So I have new gear that I'll talk about in a second, and a different mindset, and I also now am going to start on the easier side, and if it feels good, I'll work my way over to the harder side. And you know, you guys are just gonna see whatever Insta360 footage comes out of today. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. If it's me just pedaling around on a flat trail, it's me pedaling around. That's not the point of these adventure vlogs, to showcase something insane every single time. Now, I think gear-wise, one of the things that was screwing me the first time, I just had my regular like longboarding Adidas shoes on, and I was slipping all over the place on these pedals. So I'm trying this time to do the Salomons, and hopefully that makes a little bit of a difference. Same pants as before, because these actually worked out well. And I'm still rocking the skateboard helmet. It's what I got, and it seems to be working okay, but I can see why people throw on the more aerodynamic helmets. Now, as you guys can kind of see behind me here, this is the entrance way. The trails are back there. I love the fact that it's kind of raining out right now, and that makes mountain biking actually a little fun. So it's a sport that I can do when it's a little crappy out and still get some cardio, and that's the main reason why I'm trying this again. It doesn't need to be nice. In fact, a lot of the time I feel like it's kind of crappy when it's nice and hot on these mountain bikes. It's going to be very interesting to try to film with this Insta360. It's very difficult for me to pedal with the seat high where it's supposed to be, rather than where it is now, which is low. Man, this climb up in the very beginning, very difficult. As a side note, I did figure out how to get the Insta360 filming in 16:9 ratio, which is cool. Not sure how much this is gonna pick up, given that it's the Insta360 and not the DJI, but it is raining pretty good now, so I wanna make sure I have this and not the other camera. But as you can kind of see here, this is where you park, right? I came all the way up here last time and then went off into the hard stuff. I am going to go up a little bit, so I'm here now. I'm gonna go up to the left and take E1 all the way around as kind of a little warm-up trail, and then take E4 back up to the top. Whoa! Trying to not stop in the middle of the trail, but man, the left side much easier than the right side to get into. So this has been a great warm-up when it comes to mountain biking, because it's a great way to get out in the woods and not have to be just hiking. You can kind of go fast down a trail and see a lot of wildlife, which is cool. I really got to get used to using my gears appropriately. I've been getting a little better at feathering the brakes, but man, turning is tough. I'm happy I'm here almost by myself, because it just makes it a little easier to kind of work on beginner skills, if that makes sense. Kind of where I'm at the moment. So far, so much nicer when it's cooler and raining outside. Whoa, God. That was a little bit intimidating, and that would be what I would call almost dying. To a standard mountain biker, that would be like a little bunny jump. But man, it is not easy for me. Holy hell. Man, I can't do this one-handed though. There's no way. Okay. To try to hold this camera and do this is really not easy for me right now. Hershey Med Center, back there. I think that's like the parking garage. Gorgeous fields that way so far. E1 on the left with where I am right now is excellent. It's making me love this. It's not good etiquette to be standing in the middle of the trail, but it is very dead today. So I don't think anyone's coming down this way. Right at the intersection of E4 and E1, having a small bit of carbs to pick me up. I am still cutting right now, so gotta get them in where you can. Comparing the first time 2 days ago to now, night and day. I am loving this side, and I just started way above what I was actually able to do. The only thing that sucks and that I'm noticing is if I want to keep doing this, I need to figure out some way to mount the Insta360 selfie stick to the bike, because I know you guys have seen it before me, but I know the shots are probably not looking too great of me riding this because it's just all over the place. I feel it moving. So we'll see today how good the stabilization is on that camera. Coming in right now at about 1.6 miles all the way through E1. Now we're going to take E4 back to the main access road in the very beginning. Oh God. And just like that, we finished E1 and E4 behind me. The last part of that trail was so cool. I was finally starting to be able to actually turn around a corner. That's been my biggest problem yet, because I'm steering the bike rather than leaning the bike, and I just don't really know how to lean yet. And that, my friends, is all she wrote for our day of mountain biking. I want to get into it. I do. I understand it now. Having a good day on a mountain biking trail is awesome. Having a bad day is really a bad day, and that's what I'm learning. I learned today that one of the #1 things I need to work on is turning and carving on a bike. It is probably the most unnatural thing that I've done in a long time when it comes to an action sport. I am just not used to facing forward while I'm carving and not being on my side like on a board. So that I'm going to practice quite a few more times just around the neighborhood, tight sidewalks and other things, and go from there. But that is going to wrap up this video on whether or not I am getting into mountain biking at 30 years old. I didn't get any injuries today, and we're doing pretty all right because of that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.